Well, as you can see, I did both the washing and the ironing at the weekend. This is the only sleeveless shirt I have.
I did my washing.
Occasionally.
And if you could see the other side of the camera, you would see my ironing is waiting to be done.
It is.
It's there.
I could not sleep last night, so I set myself a task. Instead of counting sheep, I decided what I would do was take myself back to a period of time in my life when I was 10.
Oh, wow.
Just before going to big school. And I tried to name as many of my classmates as I could. 34 we had.
Yeah.
I knew that because when I woke up this morning, I went and found a picture to prove it. And I got to 23. Could you do that?
23?
23.
That's magnificent. I would probably get maximum 8. And that would be all my mates.
Just briefly tell us the story of the night you got caught. Graffiti on the toilets.
Well, I'm not proud of this.
I was saying, I thought it was graffitiing, but yeah.
I'm not proud of it, Richard.
We've all done things as a child, Andy, we shouldn't have done.
Well, we had, in our school, there was obviously a boys' playground, girls' playground, and a couple of my mates were quite naughty in their youth. They've changed a bit.
And you tried to just control them, obviously.
No, I just kind of was one of those that went along with them.
All right.
One of those kind of guys. So we got into the girls' playground one night, and then where you used to hide when the rain, it's called a shed in Scotland. People in Scotland know what I mean.
Yes.
But it's where you went if it started raining.
Absolutely, yeah, we had them.
So on that wall, we kind of wrote Andy G, Eddie H,
right,
and Rab J.
How on earth did they identify you?
So the next morning, remember in school you used to go ping pong, the thing going, headmaster speaking. So we were all sitting in class, and the thing went ping pong, headmaster speaking. Would Edward Hayes and Andrew Gray please come to the headmaster's office immediately? I'm going, wonder what that's for.
When you were writing your name, did it occur to you that it might be a link?
No. The only one who got away from it was my mate Rab, who was at another school.
AG was here.
I might as well just written that. Andy Gray, class 4B, get him tomorrow.
So good. Right, stories from across the weekend. No guests today because we do spend our time pouring you. This is one that came up Friday I didn't get time to mention. Louis van Gaal claiming that Manchester United didn't sign one player that he wanted. Not one. Daley Blind? Did he not want Blind?
I thought he wanted Blind, and I thought, no, he wanted Martial. He went out of his way to get Martial. I'm sure he did.
I can't remember, but
I'm sure he's the one about Martial for about 50 odd million.
I find it extraordinary if that were the case. Who was buying them and why?
But is Louis not in the last couple of months been spouting a lot of stories like that?
Yes.
That have been anti-what?
Yes.
I didn't get this, I didn't get that.
Yeah. Arsenal fans are demanding Arsene Wenger comes home as chairman. So Chips Keswick has said he's going to retire. Arsene back at Arsenal as chairman?
Why wouldn't he?
I don't think that would work necessarily.
Why? So, don't you think Fergie could do that at Old Trafford?
I think that's been one of the problems Manchester United have had since Fergie retired.
He hasn't gone.
The fact that he's been too busy and that he hasn't gone,
Really?
I think time comes where you say, right, that's done. Let's move forward. Arsene, I think, would always want to do things his way and would have memories, understandably, of the way it worked when he was manager. I think it's a really difficult scenario, Andy.
Well, I guess it depends what Arsene wants to do himself. Is Arsene finished with coaching? Do we think he's finished coaching?
I think he's finished with coaching. I think he's probably enjoying himself now where he is. He's probably got more influence to change the game if he wants to wear it. FIFA. Victoria Pleasant. A picture here of fans celebrating their team's first goal in a 2-1 win as they watch a live broadcast against Sparta Prague in a drive-in car park. Now, that might be the future. Managers looking to friendlies to cut the risk of injuries. Get that.
How do we do that then?
You stage friendlies behind closed doors at your ground.
At your training ground?
Yeah, no, at your ground.
Why don't you just play your reserves?
Well, no, you're getting them up to speed, aren't you?
Well, your reserves will get you up to speed.
David Moyes this weekend had West Ham in kit.
Saw that.
A friend of ours, we've spoken to him on this series, Paul Lambert, the unlikely lad, from Motherwell to shackling Zidane in the Champions League.
Extraordinary story.
Via a chain-smoking Dutch agent. It's nice to see. I like to think this, perhaps the interest in Paul has come from the earlier conversation we had with him. Really good guy.
Yeah, he was a fantastic lad. I couldn't believe it. When I'd spoken to him in the past, I said to Paul, how can someone who was playing at Motherwell. What? And I didn't realise at the time, it was only after I'd read the story and he told me that he played against the German side and it was such a good game that it elevated him into their eye line. And so all of a sudden, he's driving across Europe with this Dutch, not knowing whether he's going to get a contract or anything. But what I loved about it, he was big enough and brave enough. Way back then, Richard, and that was a big decision.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Big decision to go somewhere else and think, let's hope it works. And my goodness, did it not work for him?
Keegan left Liverpool without a club to join. Keegan...
Yeah, but that's a difference.
Well, yes
that
and no.
That is a difference.
Yes and no. Yes, he just starred in the European Cup final.
Wasn't he voted
made a big
European
call and
Footballer
said,
of the Year?
I'm out.
Yeah, I get that.
And it was only Hamburg at the time, really?
I know. That was a strange one for me.
But it was the only offer. It was the only offer, Andy. Leighton Orient have sold more shirts in the 2 weeks since Harry Kane agreed to sponsor their kit than the League Two club have managed throughout the whole of last season.
Yeah,
good. Great.
It's a good news.
Yes, we're back, or the Premier League would appear to be back. Still a few hurdles to overcome yet, I think. But the bottom clubs are bidding once again to axe ideas of relegation should the league be stopped.
No. League starts, if you're not good enough to get out of the bottom three, you go down. Simple. League finishes. But it is interesting, the first two games, isn't it? The two games that have got to make up the 29th game. Villa against Sheffield United and Manchester City Arsenal are the two games that are left. So get them played, I think, is what Mr. Masters wants to get done. Get these games played. And if what we don't want to happen happens and we have to curtail the league or stop it, at least everyone will have played the same amount of games.
We spoke to Jurgen Klopp Friday, not on this programme, but asked all the right questions, I like to think, because it's caused a real stir across the weekend. Liverpool's probability that they will play in a neutral venue, not sure yet. Anyway, this is what Klopp was saying to us about that very prospect.
We waited for a while for this situation, and it's not done yet. And if we would have stopped the league, if it would not have happened the silly nil and void stuff, then it was clear we are already champions. But now we wanted to play anyway, and now we are really desperate to play because we want to become champions on the pitch. That looks like that we can do that wherever it will be. We don't know. We hope it will be at Anfield, but we don't know, and that's not important. Most of the people on this planet have never the chance in their life to become champion of the Premier League. For us, it looks like that we have a chance, so we take it. However, and then there will be a moment in our life when we have time and the opportunity, and it's allowed again to celebrate together. Then we will have a moment when we will celebrate it in the right manner, whenever that will be. But that we decide how much we enjoy that then. In the moment, for me, wherever it will be, in an empty stadium, blah, 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 with all the thoughts and prayers and love from all the people around the world, it will still be an absolutely exceptional day in my life. So yes, it's not perfect, but we know for a while that it will not be perfect. So we are already used to that. We just want to have it, and then we will see how it feels. And I'm pretty sure it would feel pretty good.
If I'm an Evertonian, I don't want to go to Wembley to see the derby.
No, I don't either. I don't want. Isn't it down to local police to decide we can do this, we can manage it, so the game should go on?
I would like to think so, but at the moment it seems that the national police advisor to the government is saying half of the 6 games I don't understand. Anyway.
Well, yeah. What's that? That's Spock. That's Mr. Spock.
It is. Sci-fi greeting has replaced handshakes.
Do you know what? I can't do that. Look.
You can't?
No, I can't do it.
Well, you better start learning.
There's my effort. Look.
This is the
I can't do it.
This is the future.
No. We'll be back. They're hugging each other in Germany already.
Oh, that makes me laugh. I'll come round to that. I've got one in here. Another subject we talked about last week, women's sport now facing a 10-year setback. Wow. We're not all equal, it seems, after all, and that's a point that we made to Phil Neville, and he equally underlined. Yeah. I just think in amongst the hysteria and the excitement, and understandable that both should be the case, women's sport has just been forgotten about totally.
Swept away. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Former police chief attacks plan for neutral venues. This one, you might just be interested to hear this because it does rather support your view. Former match commander, Owen West, a retired West Yorkshire chief superintendent and an expert on crowd policing, says that he doesn't understand the need for neutral games. So that adds weight to the argument. None of my business, but I still think
You're making it your business.
Worth bringing up.
Yes.
In the UK, BT and Sky are to resist matches going to top matches going to the BBC. I don't understand why any matches are going to the BBC. Why should they? They're not been part of any contract negotiations to cover live football.
Yeah, but as we're saying, is it not what we've been saying for the last 9 weeks? People are doing things differently. People are trying to ease things and make things better. Players have helped. Players had a lot of criticism, but have helped enormously, ongoing. Clubs who were going to furlough haven't furloughed. People are trying to help and do the right thing.
Yes.
So maybe BT and Sky are thinking, well, we're doing the right thing for the public.
What, 4 games of the 92?
Well, it's a gesture. Is it not more than 4? I think it's 4.
It's absolute nonsense. Just 4 games
and let me tell
of the
you,
92.
There'll be 4 games that really don't matter.
Well, BBC want games that do matter.
Well,
And
they won't get them.
if they don't matter, then that's even more of a reason why there shouldn't be any games on the
why
BBC. If they don't matter, why?
Why would you give away Everton Liverpool?
I wouldn't give anything away.
And the first weekend, think of the games that are first weekend. Everton Liverpool, Tottenham, Manchester United. 2 of the biggest fixtures in the league.
It's worth pointing out that in our part of the world, the Middle East and North Africa, all the games, all the time, all in one place with us on beIN Sports. But I don't get that at all.
No.
Tattoos are once again back in the headlines. Jadon Sancho has got a new tattoo of Simpsons and Sonic, and maybe that's what inspired him to his hat-trick this weekend.
Why is he getting tattooed during lockdown? What about social distancing?
That's a very good point.
Well, let's hope it was done with a pretty long needle.
That's a very good point.
6-foot needle.
Serie A giants, AC Milan, plot, shock, summer swoop for Jeff Hendrick.
Saw it.
No, they don't.
I saw it.
No, they don't.
Why not?
With respect.
But look what people do, Richard. They pick up these little gems and they try and run with them. Listen, I was as surprised as you.
Jeff Hendrick.
I was as surprised as you. But they've obviously seen something there that they think they'll get for nothing. What have they got to lose?
I think they've probably
who's doing that? Do you think that's his agent?
Yeah, I think they probably had a report on somebody else and got confused.
I bet like John Barnes with a Blissett.
Well, allegedly, but that we later confirmed that was not the case. Milan got what they wanted.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
So they didn't want Barnsley after all?
No, they wanted Luther Blissett.
Oh, okay.
We had him on Keys and Gray many years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Interestingly, from the Premier League meeting last week, Karen Brady, the West Ham chief exec, claiming that if you've got 15 fit players, you will be deemed to have a squad to play when the Premier League returns.
Okay. Is that what they've decided?
Just 15.
Well, that's not even 11 and 7 subs, is it?
No.
That's 18 you need for that. Okay. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen, because that would be a problem. That would be.
Will every game be on TV next season? This again is a domestic story. Where we are, it doesn't matter. They all are, all of the time. Coverage may also see radical innovations when football restarts. I can't see that. Talking to coaches in the dugout, talking to players during the course of the game. No, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. From Tyrone Mings, the players know that we are commodities. This decision is driven by money. I don't think there's a doubt about that.
No.
Listen,
every decision that's taken, I think, throughout the world, Richard, and I'm not a politician, so I don't speak from that huge amount of knowledge, but from what I'm looking at, most decisions, whether it's easing lockdowns in various countries, have been made for one reason, and that's to get economies up and running again.
Did you ever think about putting AG into the headrest of your cars down the years? Personalising them in that manner?
No.
Well, players...
no. Yeah, I bet you did.
You
I bet you'd had RK.
Top players are now copywriting their initials. And these top players include Marcus Rashford, Dele Alli, Jesse Lingard. This is the one that made me sit up. And Jesse Lingard's... See, I knew you'd do that. Jesse Lingard's famous goal celebration.
What?
Yeah. I knew you'd say that. Yes, Jesse Lingard's famous goal celebration.
Which is what?
Well, I think it's... I don't know. I think it's... Is it that?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
It's been so long since he scored, I can't remember.
No, I think it's that. But Jesse has copyrighted this now so that nobody else can use it. If I've breached a copyright, Jesse, I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, famous goal celebration.
No, I think the word famous shouldn't be in that. Just a goal celebration. Alan Shearer's, give you famous.
Yes.
Yes?
Dennis Law.
Give you famous.
Andy Gray, in fairness, both hands up.
But No.
Jesse Lingard, no. If we get through this, plan for a new season to start in August, Andy, giving players a 2-week break.
No.
Yes?
When will that be announced? Because that's important to me. Never mind the players. What about us?
I've said this all along.
No, but no.
The chain behind what's happening has been forgotten about, never been discussed. No thought whatsoever.
Well, I can't believe that. Yeah, I've always said to you, I don't mind the season ending in the 26th of July. I think because my head anyway was around the European Championships ending on the 26th of July. So I was happy with that. And we'd had a month off before that anyway, so another month. But I can't believe we're going to finish on the 26th of July and start again in the middle of August. I thought we'd shift that back to the middle of September.
That's the current plan.
Well, we're waiting.
And this one proves to me that the people that have given the nod to the restart have absolutely no idea at all about what it is that they've done or what it is that they're talking about. The government are telling Premier League stars to keep social distance on the pitch where possible. Now think about that.
Do you want me to answer that?
Yes, I do.
Now, listen, whoever that...
I'm guessing this is from the office of Oliver Dowden.
Well, Oliver, listen, I'm sorry, Oliver. Concentrate on what you're good at and what you're not good at, leave alone.
Well, that probably leaves him concentrating on very little, Andy, because I'm not sure that he's very good at anything.
No, I'm probably right.
They've got...
What's the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard? Honestly. It's really, if you've watched the German football in the last 2 weeks, you'll understand, Oliver. Have a look at it. Actually, have a look at the Bundesliga, Oliver. Just take 10 minutes out and have a look at what they're doing.
I don't think he's ever watched a football match in his life.
Well, I would say if he's sports minister?
Culture secretary.
Cultural secretary. Have a look. Have a look.
Socially distance.
Why did you let him head that in? Well, I had to stay 2 meters away from him.
Exactly. I said this to you last week. If I'm a centre forward, from any set piece, I'm coughing.
No.
I'm putting doubt into the mind of the centre half.
Richard, I've seen it. I've watched. You haven't watched the Bundesliga. I have. There's not a thought in anyone's mind at any set play.
No one's thought about it yet.
Social distancing.
Get
closer. No, I'm close enough. 6 feet.
The UK government announced that they'd be locking down from July the 8th. Anybody entering the country would have to spend 2 weeks in quarantine, which obviously adversely affected the chances of football clubs going into Europe and playing, and also the F1 Grand Prix. They've had a rethink and they've relaxed the rules. That also was inevitable, was it not?
Well, listen, the rules for European games were always going to be relaxed, I think, because we're talking about August, which is 2 months away. And I think, hopefully, as we move forward 2 months further into this pandemic, they will be in a position to ease those rules for quarantine. We
did think the big clubs would think twice about spending big money.
Yes, I know.
But Paris Saint-Germain have signed Icardi for 45 million plus 7.2 in bonuses.
He's done well.
He has done well this
season.
Really,
and particularly when Cavani, who's now, what's Cavani, 32, 33?
Yeah.
So Edison Cavani's coming to the end. They needed someone to step in, and Icardi's done a pretty good job this season.
Championship eyes June the 20th for a return despite 10 positive tests across the weekend. Rick Parry, their chairman, is saying still under discussion.
Tell me, but when they start, I mean, we're starting the Premier League and we're getting every game on. 92 games are going to be live. Now, I'm guessing the EFL will play the same time, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if they can. How are they going to show all those games?
No idea. Don't know, Andy. Anybody this week testing positive in a Premier League squad will miss the start of the season.
Correct.
As a result of lockdown
no, they won't.
rules. Yeah, they will.
No, they won't.
Yeah, they will, because I'll quote you from this
7
article.
days.
The Daily Telegraph can reveal that there is a return-to-play protocol as part of the medical guidance. This includes a 7-day self-isolation period, with the players then only able to return to a graded activity on day 8, subject to a negative test, before group training after 14 days. For symptomatic cases, players must be symptom-free at least 14 days before they can then return to team training.
That's 3 weeks then.
So they miss it. And also another thought about restarting 5 subs and water breaks for the fear of dehydration in the summer heat. No one think about that before they were discussing?
Yeah, well, I guess they must have done because the Euros were about to be played at the same time, and it would have been the same heat.
Right. Now, discussed with you, and I've been trying to get around to this for some time, and here is the ideal opportunity. Oh, by the way, those of you that have been guessing what it is that changes on a daily basis, yes, you're getting very close, some. Others, a small number, spot on.
Have some got it? Oh, okay.
Over Andy's left shoulder, there's a table. And on that table, there is something connected with the guest that we're talking to on a daily basis. No guest today, so it's just, as you can see across his left shoulder, me from a time.
It's a cub reporter.
I
wanted a colour picture. That was a beautiful jacket.
Yeah.
There was a beautiful, colourful jacket, that.
The art of scanning. I've said to discuss
Yes,
with
I
you.
remember you mentioned it.
Yeah, scanning. Do you know what scanning is?
Scanning, yes. It's you go onto your computer and you put something on your printer and you scan it.
Let me give you a little story that introduces this article. Antoine Griezmann was 5 months away from becoming a Barcelona player when he was asked in February last year to name the most difficult opponent he'd faced in his career. Think about this, Griezmann. He said, Frankie de Jong. I tried to pressure him, but I never succeeded. One or two eyebrows were raised, so says this article. De Jong went on to dismantle Real, Juve, Tottenham and England in the Nations League before joining Barcelona. Scanning, Andrew, is, let me show you one or two pictures. Top players are all becoming so because they've worked out that you need to scan consistently what's around and about. The example that they use here is Haaland. Have a look at these pictures from 1 to 4. Looking at defender, looking at ball, defender, ball, okay? Goal, defender, ball, goal, okay? Defender, step off, score. That's scanning, and the top players these days, and that's what's making them top players. This is very different to any time in football previously, have the ability...
Sorry? It's very what?
To
different.
scan.
Did you say different?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I honestly, I get exhausted sometimes because scanning, another word for what we used to say and what I was taught as a player and everyone in my era and maybe previously and since, it's called having a picture. We were always told by my coach, Jim McLean started it, I want you to have a picture, Andy, so that if you're always looking around. As for Haaland, I played centre forward, right? Maybe I wasn't as good as him, but I played centre forward. Right, and I know what you do when you play centre forward.
Hold on, let me stop you
okay?
right there. This is a kid who looks like he's going to be a superstar.
He does.
But he's a kid. You had a career, so
you always, I know how you play centre forward. I know how you look at players. And one thing I disagree with the article, what they shouldn't have mentioned is the goal. You don't need to look at the goal because it never moves. It's always in the same place. So that's nonsense. You know that. How many times have we seen somebody finish and say, well, he didn't even look there because he doesn't need to. He knows where the goal is. But that's always in the case, Richard. People, great midfield players, in particular, let's take midfield players, because those are the ones that have to play both ways. They receive it and they're going forward. So the great ones always have a picture. Always are aware of what's around them. If you're not, you're never going to be a player. Any player who plays like that, right, who just does that and plays, is never going to be a footballer. Ever. You have to have a picture. You have to be constantly aware of what is around you. That's what makes, and the best ones do it better than others. Ask Graham Souness, another brilliant midfield player. Always had a picture. And that's why sometimes when the ball drops to you, right, somebody takes a throw in and you go, poof, a player will go whack, and he'll hit one there, 60 metres, straight to a player, and somebody will go, well, that was lucky. No, it wasn't. He knew exactly what was there. I think there was a case where Terry Venables, and I might be wrong, it might not have been Terry, but he used to have training matches, and the ball would go to the fullback, and the fullback would put his head down and say, stop. And he'd say, what's ahead of you? What's to your right? And if you didn't know, Terry would say, you've got to have a picture, as it was called then. You've got to have a picture of what's around you. You need to be, when the ball's with you, as soon as you get the ball, you need to know where you are. And the football pitch now, when you're a centre forward like Haaland, you need to be aware of the defender. Of course you do. You take him that way to go that way. You take him that way to go that way. It sounds simple and easy, but that's what you do. You move defenders to your advantage. Haaland's goal, the first day back, the opening goal of the Bundesliga, it's a classic example. He makes a tiny movement as if he's going to go near post, but his speed takes him in behind the defender. He sees the defender. The defender's got no chance, Richard. I've always said to you, that's why a forward is always the boss, because he's proactive. Defenders are always reactive, because they're not quite sure what Haaland's going to do. So they have to fractionally pause to wait to see what he does before they can react. If they react to it, if they do react quicker and get there, then you just make another movement. It's always in your advantage. So you have a picture on the football pitch all day long. Scanning is nothing new. It's like the gegenpress. We never pressed ever in our lives until now. Of course we did. We play through the lines. He plays between the lines. No, he plays in the hole.
He plays in half space.
In the half space, but he plays in the... When we used to say that, and Kenny Dalglish and Brian Little, magnificent footballers, Eric Gates at Ipswich and that fabulous team that Bobby Robson put together there, we used to talk about these guys playing in the hole. Well, which meant that was the gap between front and midfield. But because it was just in the hole, it wasn't very good, was it?
Beardsley.
Doesn't sound... Beardsley, another one. These people all played what we would now say between the lines.
So you're not buying scanning then?
No, listen, if they said to me, it's so important to have a picture on a football pitch about what's around you at all times, and the best players have pictures all the time, I would understand that. But if I've got to call it scanning now, trust me, I will use it when the Premier League comes back, and I will talk about scanning the football pitch.
We will be back tomorrow with our 50th programme in this series, and I'm delighted to say that the former Scotland manager, Gordon Strachan, OBE, will be joining us, Andy. Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Thank you for your company. If you're watching on beIN, we're here at this same time all over our broadcast network. If you're watching on YouTube, it's 8 o'clock for our international viewers, UK that is. And in the meantime, as things relax, and maybe we do a little as well, it's still very much the case that you should
stay safe, everyone.
See you tomorrow.